Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video by the Last Thoughts blog, and something a bit different tonight. Yep, we're going through Paul Scally's letter that he's brought out this evening to all fellow Gillingham supporters. We're going to break it right down and give our own opinion on it, so we're going to crack straight on. So the first page, it was the team. So the chairman just went through about letting Justin Edinburgh go, the reasons why he did, and obviously the reasons why he brought in Adi Pinnock, Lovell, and of course Jerry Day. Goes through that he had a meeting with Justin back in November about his concerns about training, about the injuries that they had, and the recruitment, and that obviously that was back in early November. He did that. Of course, we all know Justin Edinburgh got relieved of his duties after Oxford at home on back in January, just over 2 months ago now, and yeah. So I'm going to give my opinion on it. So basically, I just think that with obviously the team, I've given my opinion before regarding this. Do I think that Justin Edinburgh should have been sacked? Yes, I do. Yes, I think the chairman got that spot on. He should have gone. We were slowly falling under Justin. Nothing was really improving. He made some quite surprising yet exciting signings in the summer, but looking back on it, he signed a team rather than a team of individuals rather than a squad, which had no character, leadership. It had ability. We saw that in the first 2 months of the season where we were beating Watford. We were coming from behind against Shrewsbury, blew Southend away twice on their own patch. Of course, beat Rochdale 3-0, who we got smashed on Saturday by back earlier on in the season. But Justin had to go. We're all quite clear that Scally made the right choice, and it was nice to see that he gave him a good reference to Northampton, which he's done a good job there, to be fair. But moving on to who we've got in charge now, obviously Adi Pinnock, Steve Lovell and Jerry Day. Scally goes on in this letter, just regarding this, the second page of it says that he just felt the remainder of the season beyond, he needed to work with coaches he could trust, who knew the game, were hard working, and more importantly had passion for our club. He does mention he doesn't have the energy, which kind of says to me that had Scally been well and not gone through his health concerns, would AD have been even thought of? Would Scally have put more thought and time and effort into the appointment? Because quite rightly Reece said that you can't take any sort of passion away from Adi Pinnock. His heart's certainly in the right place, but we've seen with previous management before that passion can only go a long way before your ability and your know-how on how to win football matches at this level either works or gets found out. And unfortunately, since Adi's come in, it's not worked. For one reason or another, and it's a shame that I think if you read into that I don't think Scully had the energy, and I don't think it was well enough. But my argument to that is that could we have got people? Could the club have got people around him and gone, no, look, we went down this route before, that we appointed a legend. It didn't work, and unfortunately, we're at the moment staring League Two right in the face, because and Gills fans will say, well, yeah, you wanted Justin Edinburgh gone, now look what's happened. Yes, wanted Justin Edinburgh gone. I still agreed with that, but we wanted a better football manager. Is Pennock, if your questions, is Adi Pennock a better football manager than Justin Edinburgh? Then no, he's not. So yeah, that just kind of sums up that page on about the team. Then we move on to page 3 about J. Emmanuel Thomas. Scally goes on and says, the signing of J. Emmanuel Thomas did not work out. He was our biggest signing cost-wise, and as it transpired, one of our biggest disappointments playing-wise. Despite him returning to QPR, we remain liable for his wages until May the 20th. If you read between the lines, it appears that Jet was not a favourite among the group. Probably gave a bad impression to the youngsters and a lot of individuals around him. Come with a high pedigree, come with a history of winning games out of nothing, and we saw that in the first 2 months. He was absolutely unbelievable. He was flying, scoring goals from 30 yards and with no back lift, and we were absolutely buzzing because he was a match winner. We got so frustrated with times with Jet. I know Pennock obviously didn't fancy him, but question for Gills fans, Jet was really frustrating. However, he could win you a game in a blink of an eye, just like that. He could do nothing for 89 minutes, and he could win you a game. Proved a couple of weeks before Edinburgh got sacked that did nothing for 89 minutes. Come to the 90th minute, bends one into the bottom corner, wins you the game. You look at the Gillingham side now, have we really got anyone like that? Apart from Dak, maybe Cody Tarmy now and again. And would Gills fans have Jet in his side? Because the performances I've seen some players give us as much effort as Jet was and not have that ability. So, don't know. Maybe, but we will remain liable for his wages because he was loan contracted to us until the end of the season, which is a real kick in the teeth, and probably stopped us going out and getting one or two more. So then he moves on to end page 3. Goes on about the Medway local plan. As many of you are aware, I've been steadily progressing plans over the past 17 years to find a new home for our club. I will talk further on this later in the letter. He talks about Medway Council being very supportive of the club. There is only one site in Medway, which is Mill Hill. And then he says that he's going to be sending all the fans a letter about Medway Council's local plan. And the closing date is the Tuesday, April the 18th. And he wants all fans and local residents to get involved and give it a real support. Also provides a map, how far it is from our current site at the Priestfield Stadium. It is right next to Beecham's Cross, Gillingham FC's training ground. quite a big site. So just kind of talks about that. But it's good to see that Medway Council are on side. They want the go ahead. So, I mean, it's another thing. I mean, like Skelly said, he's going to talk later on about it in the letter. So am I, because he doesn't really go into much detail here. He just kind of gives us a map and a little bit about it. So then he goes on about Centreplate. If anyone doesn't know who Centreplate were, they were our food catering services that walked out on us in March 2015 of a long-term contract that the club have decided to take them to court over, and it appears that it's approaching around about £2 million that Centreplate are probably going to owe us. To be honest, now that we've gone down our own route of food and catering, I actually think the food has got considerably better at the Priestfield Stadium. I like the idea of the different foods at the back of the Rainham End. I would like to see it all the way round the ground. The thing is that there's not so many kids in the Rainham End, there's more in the Medway stand, so it'd be nice to see it all the way around the ground. That different range of foods. The factory, I think, is absolutely superb. I love the factory. Obviously, me and Josh pointed out that we were sitting on one of those booths that you can do your own drink. That's been coming soon since it's opened. That's something that maybe should be really sorted out. But the factory is nice. It's professional. It's welcoming. You get served pretty quickly, to be fair. It's buzzing. It's quite busy. It's quite busy on match days, on Saturdays anyway. But it's could they do more of it? They probably could. They could probably do events there. I think they've got ideas, but beanback. Could they do a beanback for away days? Just to get the fans involved, fans down to the club. Another revenue, isn't it? So then he moves on to about our long-term future on page 4. So it says, when I came to Priestfield in May 1995, incredibly almost 22 years ago now, I could not invade the highs and lows we would experience over that time together. Nor could any of us around that time imagine the way the football would change in years ahead, how the Premier League would transform to the landscape of English football for better or worse, and how the success for our elite colleagues would impact the rest of football throughout today. Then he goes on about the players' wages, often in excess of 100k per week. With that comes huge support and expectation, especially given the number of Premier League games on television, the greatest and richest players about the world. All of this is from a far cry from a cold, wet day at Oldham, Bury or Rochdale, and any other great clubs who battle to survive on a daily basis on hardly any income. So, then he moves on page 5 on about our future. He makes this a bullet point. So, should we be envious of our colleague clubs who play in the Premier League? But most certainly yes, but in a healthy way. Should we stop believing our club could one day be alongside those clubs? Absolutely not. Would it be an extraordinary feat to get there? Yes, for sure. Is it possible? Definitely yes. More than possible. Are we deluding ourselves? No, not at all. Do I believe Gillingham FC have a potential to achieve Premier League status one day? Yes, without a doubt. How do we achieve this? New stadium, more income. And then he moves on and says we should draw inspiration from the clubs who we are similar to us in size or status, who have either been, may or still be in the Premier League. Clubs like Bournemouth, Bradford, Blackpool, Portsmouth, Bolton, Watford, Sheffield United, Coventry, Charlton, Wigan and several more. When I come to Gillingham all those years ago, I knew at early stage for that club to achieve any long-term success, it wouldn't be at the Priestfield Stadium. I produced a document in 1999 called The Path to the Premier League Football. Nothing in that document has changed, and no arguments I made then are relevant today. I may even reproduce that document so you can all read it again. Then he moves on about Medway and says Medway population is now over 275, rising to an estimated 330 by 2035. This is a big bullet point. No other EFL club in Kent. Population of Kent 1.5 million. Medway is 13th largest in the UK, larger than Newcastle, Brighton, Hull, Stoke, Burnley and Southampton, to name a few. Birth rate has been rising in Medway for the past 10 years. Medway is only 42 minutes from London by high-speed rail line. Medway hosts 3 university campuses with over 6,000 students and rising. There are many more reasons why I can argue Medway can easily sustain a Premier League club in the future. Many of basic ingredients and Medway only keep growing and improving. The bad news is, unfortunately, is that do not have the resources that many of the new owners in rivaling UK clubs have access. My life has given over during the time in keeping the club going and making it as competitive as funds allows. That said, I'm a realist, and frustration, I'm sure you all know, feels at times is mirrored tenfold by what I feel myself, with my stress and worry levels often off the richer scale. I haven't made too many public statements over the past few years regarding relocation, mainly because it's long and over torturous process and fans are generally impatient and want building to start immediately. However, that does not mean I've been idle, and in fact far from it. Within the next few months, I'll be publishing my plans for relocation. What will it involve and what will it include? I'll be outlining how we will carry out construction, and by then I should have news on investment in the scheme and the club. I'm currently in talks with several potential funders, or whom I understand in the needs of the club to progress in line with the new stadium in Avon development. So as long as I have an ounce and left in my body, I will give this club the best and only chance of achieving its potential in Medway and putting itself in a position in a new arena to chase the Premier League in glory for the benefit of everyone in Medway for the next 100 years or more. It's not impossible. In fact, it gets more realistic by the day. Just look at Brighton and Albion, Bournemouth, and case studies of how fortunes can be transformed. So, this is a big point of the video that I'm going to go through. So, just on the bullet points a little bit, just says that basically, like I said about it, are we deluding ourselves? No, not at all. Does he believe that Gillingham FC can one day make the Premier League? How does he think he does? New stadium, more income. Well, my opinion on that is that, yes, I fully believe that do we need a new ground to make the Premier League? Yes, we can't play at the Priestfield Stadium at the Premier League. It's not big enough, health and safety wise. It's just not. Bournemouth have had to extend. They've had to spend money at their current base. Is there anywhere for Priestfield to build? No, you can't extend Priestfield really. All you could probably do is move the Gordon Road up that way, build a new stand, Brian Moore, but you might as well move to a new ground because it means it costs more knocking down the stand and bringing it back up again. As many people have asked before, why don't we just build a new stand? It costs a hell of a lot to go and do that. I mean, my argument is that clubs like Bournemouth, Bradford, the scheme they do this year, £149 for an adult, a £5 for a kid season ticket holder. That's how you get your fans in. Kent, he's mentioned it there on one of the bullet points. No other EFL club in Kent. We are the biggest club in the whole of Kent, and we've got 1.5 million people in the whole of Kent. If that is not telling you that we need to do something to hit that community, then I don't know what is. The club needs to come up with a scheme to bring the community of the football club back together. Look at Rochdale. They're doing £110 season ticket if they sell over 2,000 season ticket holders in the 2017-2018. I know we might be losing money on it, maybe in the long run or whatever, but you gain money because you fill the ground, your catering side is filled, the factory is filled every match day, your food, your drink is filled every single match day. Your club gets such a good recognition because you're doing something for the community. I can't stress this enough. The way forward would be bringing out a scheme that we do something like 20 plenty or something like that, or we do 100. So we do the first 100 people go in for £1 or something like that, or we go for, okay, the first 5,000 ticket holders will, so like Rochdale have done, we hit 5,000 season ticket holders, your season ticket will be £150 this season. We hit 10,000 ticket holders, 10,000 season ticket holders, your season ticket will be £100. You fill the whole ground every single match day. You bring back the Rainham End. You bring back that community feel back to Gillingham Football Club once again. That's what we want to see. We want to see. I used to come as a kid and that Rainham End used to be buzzing. Championship. Every team will come down. You'd have massive, massive teams. Teams are in the Premier League now and they used to be scared coming down to Priestfield. That Rainham End, they'd suck the ball in. It used to be full every single match day. Scally's hit it on the head. No other EFL club in Kent. Population of 1.5 million. Birth rate has been rising. 42 minutes from London. 6,000 people that come from all over the country come to Medway campuses from uni. Do a scheme for the uni students. Charge a £5 for a match day. Present your uni card. You get your uni students in. It's just as simple as that. Could the club do more? I think they could. I think the club could do more. I'm not saying the club that, because I love the club. They're so dear to my heart. They've been great to us with the blog. Nick Ball's been absolutely superb since he's come in, and like with the vlog and that. I do bits on match day for the club. I absolutely love the club, and the club is so close to my heart, and we want the best for it. And I'm just giving a suggestion what the club could do. So we move on to Millwall. This really angered me last season. Really upsetting scenes. Simple fact that we had just mucked promotion up. Millwall come down and took the piss a little bit. Fights between our own fans. But to be honest, was it the stewards that day that lost control? I don't think it was. I actually think it was the police. I think the police were absolutely appalling that day. There was fights between our own fans that I was right at the front of the Rainham End. Went up to police officers time after time after time, told them that there was fights, told them to go and sort it out. They just stood at their base and did nothing. Got told that they made 2 arrests that day. Should have made a hell of a lot more because they did absolutely nothing. That's not Scally's control. Can't do anything about the police. He's often had arguments with police before. The stewards very controlling that day. But he just goes on about we've put plans in place. And previous years it's not possible to guarantee that some supporters will not be in the areas occupied by GSE fans. There's a mutual respect between most football supporters. And we can enjoy this game together. Yes, we can. However, the stewards, I can tell you, have absolutely no authority to grab hold of a Millwall fan and chuck him out the ground. Can't do it. Normal stewards that stand by the pitch cannot do that. Stewards, supervisors that are inside the ground can do that. There's only 10 of them. If there's 100, 150, 200 Millwall fans in a Gillingham end, they can't possibly control them. If the police won't do anything, it's up to the police. And that's my argument. The police have to be right on top of this Millwall game on April the 8th. They weren't last season. They've got to be this season. So he moves on and goes on about recruitment. He says about, we recognise the importance of a good player recruitment, and indeed we clearly have to go in a greater detail when we sign players going forward, looking at character, home life, age, and more importantly, injury and availability to play history. We cannot, as a club, afford to carry and pay salaries to individuals consistently injured and unavailable for selection, accepting, of course, that some injuries are unavoidable and part of the game. In this regard, we are talking about a new scouting and recruitment structure for next season and beyond, which will address these issues, and hopefully this will ensure we have more players available for more fixtures every single season. So that appears that the chairman himself has been very frustrated over the recruitment by the previous management, and to be honest, this management signing players that can't kick a football for 3, 4, 5, 6 months in a Gillingham shirt before we see them. Talks of Harry Cornick being back this Saturday, but it's no good, and they're no good if they can't pull on that Gillingham shirt and play for the badge, if they're sat on the treatment table. The chairman is quite right. Our recruitment has been nothing short of absolutely shocking this season. He's done absolutely everything in his power to back AD and Justin Edinburgh. It's up to them to go out and get the players. They've gone and picked injured players for some unknown reason, and you can clearly quite see there that the chairman is very frustrated at the level of recruitment. It's been nothing short of shocking. If you go back to the Martin Allen era, his recruitment was nothing sort of absolutely outstanding. But that went to a certain Mr. Andy Hessenthaler, who played a very good role of director of football and a good eye for a player. Could we go down that route, maybe, of having a director of football? Someone who's got a real eye for a player, does his background history into someone like that. So maybe that's something I'd like to see, and maybe a director of football. So then he goes on about season tickets. We'll be launching our season ticket renewals next week, which is a week commencing March the 27th. He goes on about taking up a 2-year season ticket option that they are offering. This will only be available to the first 1,000 applicants. He then says about, we've been making several changes to the season structures on offer. So yeah, just goes on about prices, about changes, about more under 18s to attend. I'm not too sure about my opinion on the 2-year season ticket option. I mean, for me, it all depends on what's going to be done for me to have to go and get that 2-year season ticket. What are the club going to do for to sign up for 2 years for 46 home games, and for what? So the club, it'd be interesting to see what the club are going to offer for people to sign up for that. So we'll wait and see. What comes out of that one. Then he moves on, which is quite interesting, which I found out, and which probably hits us a little bit as a blog as a whole, and so supporters clubs. So it says, we're working at expanding and securing our support base with a number of new initiatives, and as a start we'll be launching 5 new supporters clubs at the start of next season, covering all age groups. The Priestfield 1893 club will be for over 18s and will allow, among other things, credit to be put on a club card to use at various outlets, including the factory and on around the ground. It is a hope we can include season ticket access to these cards, removing the necessity of voucher books. More to follow. I actually like this idea. I do like this. I mentioned about this before. That could we bring in some sort of card that we can put on that card, different discounts. You can clock up points, and at the end of the season or midway through the season, if you show that you've been loyal throughout the season, you get a reward. But more importantly, I just want to hit more of our followers regarding this supporters club tonight. I was speaking with Josh and Reese, Keeble Wells and Reese Hurd earlier in the week, and I said that could we do something? Maybe we do something with the club? Could we maybe we would like a meet with the football club and say, look, we see by the chairman's letter that he's interested in supporters clubs. Could we not be that link between the fans and the football club? Because so many times this year that the fans have put across opinions and had arguments with the players on social media. They've had arguments with Nick Ball, the media guy, and Nick has put things across to the media and on social media that is quite innocent, but the fans perceive it in a bad light or a bad way, because that they don't let him explain, or he has to spend 2 hours of his time on Facebook, where he's probably got a load of other stuff to do. And I think maybe that's where maybe we could step in as the Last Waltz blog. Could we maybe be that link between the football club and the supporters? Could we be almost the spokespeople for the club? Could we almost be the spokespeople for the Gillingham fans? That any fans that want to express their views, could we take it to a monthly meeting to the chairman and the playing staff and the management and just say, right, okay, so because this is not in bad light and we're doing it as a professional outlet, this is what the fans think. This is our opinion. Ultimately, the fans are the most important thing of a football club. This is our opinion. Right, can we work with you guys now to put this across? So if you fans have got something that you want to do, and me and Josh spoke and we said, how can we do this? So we're going to come up with an idea for you guys and for you followers. We're going to organise once a month a Gillingham FC fans night, which basically means that you can come along, venue to be arranged by the way, you can come along, me and Josh will host, Josh and Reese will host, you can come along, we will have different topics for you throughout the night, and you can bring up your topics, you can bring up your opinions, and you can have your voice. You can have your voice without, because a lot of things are planted all over social media that are put in a very bad light that people maybe don't mean at the moment, heat of the moment. And I think that maybe this one evening that we host a month, we could take back to the football club, because we're very good friends with Nick Ball at the media side, and we can take back to the club and we can say, right, this is what the supporters think. What can we do? What do you think? What do the football club think? What do you think about this idea? What do you think about this idea? And maybe it helps the club interact, and it helps the fans not perceive the club in such a bad light. And I think maybe that could be the way forward. What do you think? Do you think that maybe are our followers and Gills fans interested in doing something like that? Let us know. Comment below. Tweet us once the video goes out. So Then it goes on to about a GFC bond loan scheme. Over the next few weeks, I'll be developing ideas to launch a bond loan scheme. This scheme will be designed to raise funds specifically to fund the planning studies and costs related to the submission of planning application to Medway Council for new stadium project. There will be limited number of bonds made available, attracting rates of return and other benefits specific to the new arena. So, more details to follow, he says. So, basically saying that Gills fans can buy into helping the club develop and cracking onto that new stadium project, which, in my opinion, if the fans want to do that, they want to do that, that's fine, because we all need to pull in one direction. So more details to follow. I don't really know much about that, so we just have to wait in the coming weeks to see what happens. Conclusion then. So he says about I hope the above outlines where we are as a club, as a business, and allows all supporters, whether active or passive, and an insight into what's going on behind the scenes and where I see our future. There are, of course, at times where challenges at Priestfield seem too great, and I personally feel I'm losing the battle and will to fight on, but then I remind myself how close we all are to our better future, and I recall the saying of American football and broadcast, you're never a loser until you quit trying. We won't quit trying. We will overcome our short-term issues, because ultimately we are a great club with many great supporters that also regard Gillingham Football Club as their club, their passion and their life. I urge all supporters, our regulars, and indeed those are less regular, to turn up in force to get behind the team for the remainder of our games this season, to be positive and make Priestfield rock, and to support the club in our initiatives as outlined now and future. Once I'm able to release the news on our potential relocation, I know those who are unable to share my vision now will start to understand and bite into the concept. Then together we can move forward as one, united in belief there are interesting times ahead. One thing is for certain, we don't believe we won't achieve. Each and every one of us must believe. Thanks for your support and time in reading these notes. Feel free to let me have any views or your comments on any points up the Gills. So that ends this letter and also this video. On that conclusion, I think I've given my points and certainly my passion in this video. He's certainly right in his conclusion that we need to all start pull forward as a football club. But I hope in recent weeks that the club deliver what we want to see in terms of more information about potential owners, more information about this relocation, more information about the supporters clubs. I hope that this is just not an 8-page letter just to say, right, let's come together, let's do this, and we don't hear anything. No, let's act on this. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's be together, and let us fans, the blog, the football club, everyone work together, and let's see where we're going to go from here, because we're in a real transition period right now. I know some of the boys said, before I go, some of the boys said that on the blog, it appears that AD is going to stay by the comments that Scully has made through that letter. For me, that would be a real, I don't know, depends what league we're in, to be honest. If we're in League 2, it's got to be looked at as a whole restructure, players and management. Being in League 1, if he keeps us up, he deserves it. He deserves his job, because I don't like it. I was underwhelmed, and I don't think he's the right man to take us forward long term. But with the injuries and suspensions and the luck that's gone against us this year, but also we've played, not for 1 minute, outstandingly well. Does he maybe have a fair crack at it to bring in his own squad during the summer? You can probably argue maybe he does. If we stay up, had we go down, I think that maybe it needs a whole restructure. But I hope I've given my utmost opinion tonight, my honest opinion. Let us know if you want to do that fans night. Please do let us know. Comment below, like, subscribe, keep supporting the Last Thoughts blog, and I hope you guys are feeling positive, and interesting to see what comes in the coming weeks. Lastly, up the Gills.